Welcome back, guys and girls, to Dark Souls 3. We continue our adventure. Played through the beginning of the game. Last time, defeated the first boss, reached Firelink Shrine. Today, we will talk with the blacksmith and venture even further. If you guys are enjoying this early look at Dark Souls 3, make sure to hit that like button. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll bring you more. Right now, we are changing. You can go in and change the allotment of your Estus Flasks. So you may remember that we have one for health and one for our arts meter. Trying to zoom through some of this fast because I am on a time limit, but just showing you what the blacksmith has to offer, what he can level up, fire gems, regular gems, stuff like that. Very reminiscent of Dark Souls 2. I love that system there. And some interesting comments lately from Miyazaki, basically saying he is making Dark Souls 3 or made Dark Souls 3 just based on his preferences, what he liked, what he wanted to put in sort of the third and what may be final game of the series. This is a huge environment here in Firelink Shrine. I'm guessing you'll bring back lots of NPCs. It starts off with, I think, 4. The only one we haven't seen is the shopkeeper. But I'm going to skip us forward to some new battling rather than run through here for the entirety of my time. I will dip my sword into this bonfire here. That's the one I pulled from the bad boss that we beat last time. And that will light this bonfire and then allow us to teleport to the next locale. Now, it seems like Dark Souls 3 is going to be a more level-based, disjointed world, as opposed to something like Bloodborne, which was much more integrated. Well, I shouldn't even say that, but some of the earlier games were more integrated. I was thinking of the opening areas of Bloodborne and how they're all sort of put together, but you end up traveling there as well. I think it's all pretty integrated, though. This, though, clearly has direct teleports. So we are going to move from here to the next area, which is the one featured in the network test. Now, you guys have not seen the network test because I recorded that and then lost all the footage. So instead, it's okay. Don't worry. We'll show it to you here. And I've made some cuts throughout that kind of skip deaths or boring parts to get you the main content. So we make sure we get all the bosses covered during the limited amount of footage I am allowed to show. Probably should have cut this load screen, but I felt like it was important for you guys to see that there are at least some lore-based stuff in the load screens, and they aren't too terrible. So we'll open these doors here and begin our quest forward. High Wall of Lothric is where we are, and testing out some of our different moves and whatnot here. Pretty darn cool. You do have arts, and I think this is where I kind of like show them off. And so once we two-hand the sword, we'll be able to do those, and they're activated via the bumpers. And you can kind of charge up these more powerful attacks that then use some of that blue meter in between stamina and health, which is kind of cool. I didn't find the need to use them in combat in these early areas, although I'm sure it would have dealt more damage to the bosses and possibly one-shotted a lot more of the regular enemies. But I'm guessing that the arts will factor in heavily into both PvP and later areas, later battles. So we'll light the first bonfire here on the high wall. And this is a dragon-infested area. You'll find dead dragons, maybe even a live dragon or two along the way. The bosses in this, like, beginning of the game that I played the first 4 hours had a bunch of hugeness in all of them. The first knight that you saw last time, he was, I'd say, an average boss height, but the next two are pretty sizable, and it seems like the difficulty ramps up real quick right off the bat. I'm guessing it's because they expect people to have already played some Dark Souls, but to me, man, by the time we get to the third boss, I was like, I don't know how anyone who hasn't played the game would do this. But at least here we're still in a fairly cinchy, easy, noob-friendly area. A lot of these guys are one-hit, two-hit monsters, and most of them aren't even, they have basically no aggro. They are Zen monsters, if you will. Take out this guy who seems to be activating them. Good night, sleep tight. Why did you have to wake up all your sleeping friends? Jerk face. We'll retreat, get a little distance, and then take everybody out. Trying to be protective with my health. I have the Ember now, so my HP meter has been increased from its typical and normal stature. And so I don't want to blow that, because when you die, you lose the Ember, picking up some souls here. Lots of items, as I mentioned. You lose the Ember and have to use another one to regain that extra chunk of your health meter. So we'll do our best to stay alive here, trying to take out all these grunts just to be extra safe. You'll notice there's a dragon hanging over the wall there. We'll go say hi to him in a second. I'm probably taking a bite of a protein bar or something during this long gameplay session. These guys are all praising some creature. Luckily it's dead, so we don't have to worry too bad. But these dragon worshippers need to be wiped away before we can explore this goofball here. So, take all these dudes out. Not doing so on the health thing, and we've got a dude tossing Molotovs or firebombs from the staircase above. So I'm going to chug an Estus Flask and do our best to work through all of these goon squatters. Good night, sleep tight. Getting hit by firebombs, this is not right. That guy is causing me way more chaos than Sword and Shield Boy. So we're going to go up here and say hello to both these dudes, take them out almost simultaneously, and then we can deal with a little grunt man down below, falling all over the place. We'll do the same and taking him out as quickly as we can. Now let's explore this dragon. Can we walk up his tail, please? No. Look at his foot. It's like bent all awkwardly. That has to hurt. He clearly died in pain. Or he's frozen in pain or something. No matter what, I can't get up him. But that foot is smelly. A giant one. Probably like size 126. Nothing like my 11.5 feet. But we'll head back up the stairs. Grab another item because they're everywhere. Can't bust through that door. Let's see where they want us to go from here. Doesn't seem like a whole lot to do. Checking out some of the stuff I acquired, but none of it really is better than my default gear. So for now, we'll rock and roll. I'm going to use the binoculars I found, though, to see what we can see and zoom in on the dragon, although there's not much to really be found. Eventually, maybe those will come in handy. I wonder if there's any, like, super secret enemies or areas or items or whatnot that can be found with the binoculars. But we're going to head underground for now, because the best people and places are beneath the earth. This dragon, he don't budge, he don't wake up. He's asleep, which is how I like him. This area right here reminded me a ton of Bloodborne. It's just got the same vibe, darkness, and a couple enemies. It reminded me of one of the early areas of Bloodborne, where one of the first wheelchair enemies with a shotgun is, if you know what I'm talking about. One of the first buildings that you come across. And then, as you'll notice, like I said in the first video, like the speed is reminiscent of Bloodborne without the aggressive, offensive nature that PS4 exclusive had. Item there. How do we get it? I know I can, but I think for now, well, actually, we will go get it. All right. Got some time. I want to make sure I got through the content, but I also want to make sure I paid homage to all of the intricacies of Dark Souls and made sure to show you guys that this is indeed no cash-in, but a super awesome iteration in the franchise, and I hope it ends up being the best. I absolutely love my time with it. So we'll drop down here, puts us on this little walkway, and then allows us to enter, grab some gold pine resin, which is a worthwhile item. I'm glad I grabbed that. And then we'll head back down. It's amazing how outside of boss battles where the music gets crazy, like Dark Souls, if you aren't commentating or if you aren't playing with like a friend, it's a very like quiet experience. Like there's a whole lot of solitude in this game, and you feel like you're the only one alive, and that may be the case as I chug another Estus. And we're gonna head to an area where well, you'll see. But we've got our first pikeman here, who is a little bit weird and a little bit wicked. For some reason, I found myself having tons of trouble getting this guy to attack and move his shield. So he takes a little bit longer than he should. There's also enemies firing arrows and such from down the hole. So we got to make sure that we don't aggro too many of them. I'm going to sprint past. Well, maybe I'm not. There's too much hassle going on. Let's take this guy out. What is he doing? Come and attack me, Mr. Pikeman. Let's go up these stairs. What do we got over here? Hello? Lots more dudes. Oh god, something's rumbling. What's happening? The dragon has risen! Or some dragon has risen and he's breathing fire upon all at the top of this stairway. So we definitely don't want to head there. And then, let's see, can we get him to breathe fire down that lane as well? That's how I like it. Boom, baby. Taking out most of those dudes, leaving just me versus the spearman. So I can face off against him. Just me and him with a little grin. Low on Estus, which isn't great. More fire, flame, spitting coming down. And it's not quite ready to reach the pikeman. He is really good about putting that shield back up. We're having a hard time getting him. Even from what looks like behind. There we go. Finally cashing in on his mistake. And we get him. So this guy is fire breathing ferociously. We need to sprint past. He's going to breathe down the alleyway. And then we got to move it, move it. I like to move it straight down the hall. Almost ready for another quick cut and a boss. Grab some items along the way and take a little bit of fire damage. Not enough to kill us though. Here is where we once again find an Ouroboros opponent, as I like to call them. This is kind of creepy and freaky because you don't expect it. This guy seems like a normal skeleton, but as soon as you attack, he turns into a giant clawed mammoth of darkness. And I'm going to firebomb the heck out of him because that seems to deal a lot of damage. He has substantially more health than any of his brethren in the vicinity and a wicked range. You can get up close and personal, but he will deal damage to you. And I found it quite hard to roll out the way of this guy. Just a creepy look. Whether you compare this to Resident Evil or Bayonetta, they're very creepy. And it's kind of cool that you don't know when they're coming. Almost like a mimic chest, even though those had tells. I wonder if these enemies have tells, but I couldn't figure it out, at least in my early experience with the game. But the fact that they just pop that out of nowhere, like, throws you for a loop. Obviously, I'm dead now, so my meter, or I'm hollow, whatever, so my meter is not very, my HP isn't as big as it was. Climb down here and make another skip and a hop forward. Actually, items. And again, this was like a recurring theme. Every time I thought I could progress, I ended up seeing more items. And here we find our first little crystal lizard. Make sure we grab this guy since he's, I think, the first one in the game. And he will grant us the blessing of a gem after we smash his top rare gem. Grab that, and then we'll move towards a mini-boss battle. This is not a named boss nor a metered boss. It's just a big enemy, but he is quite the hunk. So I thought I would make sure that we showcase him here. He wanders around in circles. I dealt quite a bit of damage to him from above, just with fire bombs and some long-range attacks, because he has a wicked weapon and really punishing attacks, and I wanted to make sure I played it extra safe and didn't, incur unnecessary death that would take away time from me reaching the end of this demo. He deals damage there. Rolling out the way, I do have the Embered status, and so we'll put big old fatty to rest. We're very close to the next name boss, and that is what you'll see when we come back next time. And he is quite the treat. I thought he was really fun. Both the next two bosses are super awesome, so I can't wait to share that with you. A little bit of a shorter video today, kind of the interstitial between boss battles, but we'll get there soon. Until that time, guys and girls, make sure to hit that like button if you're enjoying this Dark Souls 3 series. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I love you guys lots. Cannot wait for April when this thing releases and we can play all of it, because let me tell you, after 4 hours, I just wanted to play more. Played Quantum Break and Dark Souls 3 last week, and I just wanted more and more of both of them. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'm getting a Skype call. This video footage is about to end. So until next time, everybody, thanks again for watching. Fantastic day. Drink some hot chocolate, and we will see you all later.